Hi, I'm Kata, and this is Torn City News. I was browsing the forums the other day, and I happened to stumble upon quite possibly the best up-and-coming Torn artist ever. His name is Tilted, and his art can't be described as anything less than a masterpiece. He only charges $1 per picture, but I would recommend a tip to encourage him to continue making such great work, and he can recreate just about any picture you ask him to. He has been called a true master of the craft and a genius artist by his customers. I featured some of his art last episode when I talked about the Vulp's war with Flux, and when I said something about Matt in there, I had a picture that he drew of Matt. I also commissioned him to do the new intro to the brand new segment, Nena Needs to Know, which should be coming soon. I know I've been saying that for like 2 weeks now, but I have had it recorded for about 2 weeks. I just need to edit it and actually post it. Please take a minute to go and visit his profile and browse his gallery and ask him to make a picture of yourself if you want to, or purchase one for a friend. I will have the link to his profile in my video description, and I've also now hired him as my own personal artist because I think he's just so talented. Let's see here. A friend and I are starting a hopefully annual thing called the Noob Appreciation Week and Boot Camp. We did post the sign up thread in the forums where anybody under 60 days can sign up for the competition. It's basically a week's worth of contests and mini games where new players can win different prizes. We're hoping this will give new players incentive to stick it out and keep playing Torn, even during the rough and slightly boring first few months. To sign up for the main competition, contestants need to go to the thread and say they are interested in signing up and that they have read and understand the rules. The contestants in the Noob Bootcamp will be competing for the greatest gains in the following categories: user activity, longest kill streak, bounties collected, and they'll be split into 2 groups, ages 0 to 30 days and then 31 to 60 days. Besides the main competition, which is the Noob Boot Camp, other great prizes will be given out daily on the thread to players under 60 days, regardless of whether or not they are signed up for the competition. We might also throw in a competition in there somewhere for people over 60 days to like give advice to the new players, like who can give the best advice and stuff. We'll see. We did considering doing some sort of mentoring for the new players that win the competition. We didn't really get that going beforehand, but if you're an older player and you are interested in mentoring these new players, please message me in the game and we will get that sorted out. In other contest news, the Bachelorette contest is finally coming to an end. The thread has been highly entertaining, and I hope that everyone had a great time doing it. I know some folks out there thought it was a bit ridiculous, and they're probably correct, but it pretty much exceeded all of the expectations I had for it, so I'm pretty happy. I did want to say a special thank you to everyone that participated and made it what it was, even Badger and Dougal. It's been a really great time, and I did notice that they are offering still the $100 million to whoever wins if they tell me to piss off. And apparently Dougal has added to that, saying that he will put in $100 million as well. So it's a total of $200 million to tell me to piss off. So whoever wins, there you go. The final 3 contestants left in the contest are Megalomaniacal, Dottie, and Bullseye. There was some fierce competition in the last round of voting, with Dougal getting quite a few votes and looking like the winner until the very last day when Bullseye pulled ahead. Dougal apparently realized that he wouldn't be able to catch up, so he dropped out of the competition in shame. Hopefully, we will get Dougal to join us on our new Twitch that we recently set up, which leads me to a few days ago when we kind of accidentally broadcast Torn on Matt's Twitch. It was a surprisingly good time, surprising that anybody actually watched Matt stream Torn, and I think it'll open up a lot of opportunities for Torn City News. I signed up a master account for TCN, and I'm hoping that we will be able to use it for interviews, maybe the questionable advice segment, live broadcasts, and other segments we may come up with in the future. I'll put the link in the video description and probably stick it up on my profile as well. It should be fun. And speaking of the questionable advice segment, we'll be opening that back up to your questions. I'll have another post up. You can either post your questions there or submit them anonymously to Oriel through mail or dollar events, or you can send it just regularly and just tell her whether or not you want your name to be included. That would work as well. And kind of a cool new development that was added in the forums was the ability to change your rating as long as you change it within a few minutes of your initial click. This is definitely an improvement. I know I've clicked downvote by accident and was just like, fuck, as soon as I did it. Then I generally would go back and go and upvote like 2 of that person's posts to kind of try to make up for it, unless it was Champion or Matt, and then I would just leave it. But anyway, if you accidentally rate a post the wrong way, just click the rating button a second time and it should undo the rating. So if you accidentally clicked downvote on one of my posts, just click on it again to undo it and then click the thumbs up symbol to fix the down rating, because obviously everybody knows you didn't mean to downrate it. But feel free to go upvote 2 more of mine to make up for the accidental down rating anyway. I didn't do an official ban hammer this week, but it has come to my attention that Chibs has been chat banned. So sad about that. He has been chat banned for like a month, so darn. Come back, Chibs. We want you back in chat. In other news, as some of you may have noticed, after 8 years of service to Torn City, our beloved Fluffy is no longer staff. Hopefully he'll still be doing some PSA announcements for us. I haven't gotten the official yes or no from him, but I'm really hoping that he will. I've heard some interesting stories about why Fluffy isn't staff anymore, some of which may even be somewhat accurate. Chit said that he heard Fluffy was canned from staff because he was because he was really an undercover agent for the Bring Back the Dogs movement, and Ched caught him trying to release the dogs from their cages in the underground compound where they've been kept all these years. But that wasn't the only theory of Chet's. He also suggested that it was possible that Fluffy knocked up a fellow staff member, resulting in Ched telling him that he'd either have to have a shotgun torn wedding or he needed to leave staff immediately, and obviously Fluffy chose to leave. But here's the official story. Fluffy and Ched haven't really seen eye to eye since he took over doing everything and mutually agreed after around 8 years it was time for Fluffy to move on. And here's the short version of what really happened according to Fluffy. They were dealing with a donation issue where the user said he was going to quit the game, so Fluffy messaged that player and asked if he could have his stuff. Well, this pissed off this gentleman, so he called Fluffy a effing cunt, which pissed off Fluffy, so Fluffy reported him. And Fluffy stated that he had only filed 2 or 3 reports in his 8 years in Torn, so filing 1 more shouldn't have been that big of a deal. Unfortunately for him, Ched didn't agree, and they got into an argument over the whole thing, and Fluffy decided that earning $5 a month for a shit ton of work basically wasn't really for him. He also mentioned that he recently graved one of SA Dude's threads in the forums, which is probably the real reason he isn't staff anymore. King SA Dude got Fluffy fired for graving his thread. You heard that here first, folks. That's the real story, the hard-hitting truth. Let that be a lesson for all of you staff out there. But honestly, I think the truth is somewhere between all of these stories, but only Ched and Fluffy will ever know what truly happened on that fateful day in June. And I tried to keep it short this week, so hopefully, since last week's was super long, hopefully I'll get this edited and up on today, which is Friday, and you guys can sit through it, because I think it was only a few minutes, maybe 6 minutes long. Who knows? I had a few other stories that I wanted to go into, but they're not really time pressing, so I'm sure I can do them later. Plus, I was distracted all day, so I didn't really get a whole lot done. But thank you for watching, and stay classy, Torn.